Sumo deadlifts get their name from the wide sumo wrestler-like stance that you take to get into the position for them. The reason for that is we put our hips in a slightly more externally rotated position, which just gets a little bit more engagement through the glute med or the side butt muscle out here on the edges. So we do that with a kettlebell. I like to tell people to set up over top the kettlebell so that the handle is directly in line with the midline of my feet. That just prevents me from letting that weight get too far in front of me where I have to arch over to reach out to it. Once I'm over top the kettlebell, toes, again, that wide outward angle. As always, with a compound movement like a deadlift, core engagement and bracing is going to be really important to perform the movement safely. So I'm going to get a big breath in and lock my abs in place super tight before I even drop down into the position. So I have my breath. Now I'm going to hinge my hips back. So you can see my knees are loose, but I'm not squatting down in this position too much. I'm hinging the hips back, creating tension through this posterior chain, grabbing hold of the handle of that kettlebell. Now again, if I have to reset my breath here, that's fine. I'll get that reset. And then I'm going to engage my shoulders and my upper back. So I don't want to have this loose and then yank it off the floor, because that force, that impulse is going to potentially put you at risk for injury. So core's tight, upper back's tight, and now I'm just going to drive my feet straight down into the floor and up to a locked out position of my hips. So even right here, my hip is trying to cramp up in this position because I have full tension on it. So once I'm in this position, I can reset my breath, hinge back in. Now I can let my knees bend a little bit, almost into a squat here, but not a whole lot, because that wide stance, again, we want to really focus on this back side. So I don't want to make this a knee dominant movement where I let those come forward too much. Reset at the bottom, driving straight up, and squeezing my butt at the top. Not throwing my hips forward and leaning back in that position and get a lockout. I always like to tell people, just stand up as tall as you can in that position. You'll feel a full lockout on your hips and a lot of engagement through your glutes. And then hips back, coming back down. Even on that last rep as I put it down, I'm not losing my form and just rounding over to put it on the ground. Always performing those reps, even putting it down as safely and technically sound as possible. That is a Kettlebell Sumo Deadlift.